Hello everyone. Our today's topic is about the leader as a social architect. So very interesting. You can say that a domain by which we're going to enter. So leader as a social architect. What is basically expectation, and what are the requirement the leader has to be fulfilled when he or she is working as a social architect. We want to create a vision and a strategic direction. This is basically uh, identification of the direction, and of course when we decide what is the vision and the mission of the company, then we have to make our strategic direction. Then we will follow our vision aligned with the mission and then approaches the strategic direction. So let's open with the objectives of this chapter of this topic. We will cover about that the relationship among vision, mission and the strategy, and of course the implementation mechanisms also. So let me tell you here one thing, that firstly we have to decide or write up a vision statement, or the selection of the broader picture, what actually we want to become. So now, aligning with the vision, we will have to decide what could be the mission of that company, of that particular objective. And then, of course, when we'll select the broader picture, the mission, and then we'll have to make strategy accordingly. And then we will implement all these as per the requirement. Secondly, we will cover that the personal leadership vision. Initially, we will cover what is a vision, and then we will discuss the personal leadership vision. Next, we will cover that the common themes of powerful visions in your life and your work, right? So could be the third portion of this session. Understanding how leaders formulate and implement the strategy. Initially, the leader have to formulate and then implement the strategy. Apply the elements of effective strategy. This will also will cover in this session. Starting with the strategic leadership before understanding the concept of a leader. So I will discuss with you here that what actually strategic leadership is, and how we're gonna to be relate with this, with the vision, with the mission of the company. It is basically the ability to anticipate and envision the future, maintain flexibility, think strategically, and initiate changes that will create a comparative advantage for the organization in the future. So basically every organization is mainly focusing on development of the comparative advantage, because it is the unique feature of any organization. It could be the quality, it could be the status symbol, it could be the taste, it could be any kind of differentiation among the competitors. For instance, Apple has a competitive advantage, status, Apple unique features, unique layout, unique softwares, right? And then if I will come towards any restaurant chains, any food industry, so the taste, the you can say that the uh, equity the particular brand carries includes the comparative advantage of that particular company. So moreover, I just also want to share with you that the superior organizational performance is not a matter of luck. Keep in mind one thing: if you want to become your organization a superior one, so it is not a matter of luck, it is determined largely by the choices leaders make. So very important, the role of a leader is, top leaders are responsible for knowing the organizational environment, considering what is might be like in 5 years, like in 10 years, and setting a direction for the future that everyone can believe in. So the direction, the future plan is very much important. Strategic leadership is one of the most critical issues facing organization. For instance, I must say that the ability to anticipate and envision in the future, as I told you in this definition, so it is very much crucial. And leaders are facing with very complex and ambiguous information. And you can say that the mostly leaders make the same choices, so then they will face some kind of difficulties or problems. So the complexity of the environment and the uncertainty of the future can be the main hurdles, can be the main things the leader have to face. So thus many are inclined to focus on internal organizational issues rather than the strategic activities. So it is easier also and more you can say that the thing possible for the leader to deal with the routines, operational issues, and some result oriented things also come when you are taking direction and when you are routinely auditing your internal setup. So in addition, I must say that many leaders today are based upon some kind of routine things. They are not focusing on the big picture. And I'm giving you an example of a study here. One study looked at the time executives in various departments spent on long-term strategic activities and found discouraging results. Got my point? Mean to say, in one particular way, many executives in various departments spend on the long time where on strategic activities. So in the company studied 84% of the finance executives, 70% of the information technology executive time, 76% of the operational managers time is focused on the routine day-to-day activity. I'm giving you another example that on average senior executives spend less than 3% of their energy on building a corporate perspective for the future, and in some companies the average less than 1%. So yet no organization can achieve for the long term without a clear viewpoint and the framework for the future. So I'm just giving you two examples here that they are more inclined towards the work, they are more focusing on the information, but if they don't have a future oriented focus in their mind without the strategy, then nothing will provide the positive to them. Like if in coming slide I'm giving you a picture here that you can see, this is the picture and this is the direction. Like initially you have to maintain you have to design a vision, then mission, then strategy accordingly, and of course finally what is the purpose of this discussion is the architect for the alignment and the implementation. Like what is basically your own ability as a leader. This is a basically purpose of an architect. You know about who is known as architect? Architect is a person who can design the things, who can design the interior things, or you can say the exterior layout. So the art, right? So as a leader, you must have an art to align all the vision, mission, and the strategy accordingly to get the better results. So in this diagram, you can see here that the levels that make up the domain of the strategic leadership. Strategic leadership is responsible for the relationship of external environment to choices about vision, mission, strategy, and their implementation, of course. So in this diagram, the compelling vision of where the organization want to be in the 5 to 10 year, as I told you earlier. The vision reflects the environment and the work in the concern with the company mission, its core value, purpose for the existence, strategy provide direction. So I'm just giving you something that as far as the vision is concerned, it's a broader picture, what you want to become. Mission, what is your company, what is the business of your company, your core values, your purpose, etc. Strategy, strategy is basically a plan of action, what you want to become, what you want to achieve, and then you are going to align all these according to the particular relationship, right? I think so. All of you take a breath, long rest, pause here. I think so. All of you are feeling now a comfort. So with this, I'm gonna to be define the vision. Attractive, ideal future that is credible yet not readily available. Okay? It's mean your vision is also more than a dream. It is an ambitious view of the future that everyone involved can believe in. one that can realistically be achieved, yet one that offer a future that is better in important ways than what now exists. For example, I'm just giving you an example of a vision in an attractive ideal future that is credible, not yet attainable. Let's say if I'm going to be discuss with you, Sony Corporation wanted to become the company most known for changing the worldwide poor quality image of Japanese products. So since that time, Japanese company have become known for quality, but in the 1950s, this was a highly ambiguous goal that feared people, imaginations, and sense of national pride. So sometimes visions are brief, compelling, and slogan-like, easily communicating to understand by everyone in the organization. So I think so you can understand that at that time when the Sony decided to become the well-known company, the world good best quality company, the vision they decided, and they want to compete the Japanese company. So at the time it was just like a dream, but then they just put effort and of course develop their name. All of you are aware about the Coke company, Coca-Cola, a Coke within arm's reach of everyone on the planet, right? So you can serve the motivate all employees, and there are a lot of things in the Coke want to achieve. So the Coke is also struggling, making some kind of efforts, developing the things. So the vision of the company is to get the market share and compete the rivals like Pepsi. Coke at that time initially the become the international brand, and the distribution of Coke was very fine, and right now it is also in Pakistan. The you can say that the spread, the availability of that particular company is also very much effective. So of course these are some visions. I'm giving you another examples in the coming slides of the vision of different companies. Motorola, they want to become the premier company in the world. So looking like it's a dream, but the vision's just like that. Okay, this is basically the company situated in US. So you are not aware about that. So the name, it's Ritz Cortland Amelia Island Engineering Department, where no hotel has gone before, free of all defects. Wow. Johnson Controls Incorporation continually exceeded our customers' increasing expectations. The brief of the vision. New York City Transit, no graffiti. It's a claim. Egan Zander, be the worldwide leader in executive search. Okay, I'm just giving you another example of a company not written here. I think so. The vision, the best vision I have ever heard in my life, and I think so. You may agree or disagree also. The vision of optical company, the company which is basically making glasses, eye lenses, or sunglasses, etc. Okay, listen about what is a vision statement. Listen carefully. Now I'm going to start. Our vision is to take care of your vision. Is there a need to further elaborate? It's mean it is our vision. It's mean it's our desire. It's our you can say that main requirement. What? To take care of your vision. What is about your vision? Your eye. We are talking about your vision, your eye. Fine. So very interesting, and I think so whenever the where the term vision is going to be elaborate, so it is not a good sign if I am if someone not discuss the example of this vision. So this must be discussed. Our vision is to take care of your vision. Very interesting and very impressive vision statement. All right, the nature of the vision. Currently, reality, staying the course, moving towards our desired future. So these are the two directions. The circle at the bottom, current reality. And if you are staying the course, so this is this direction, and if you are moving towards the desired future, then you're approaching the vision. So of course everyone want to approach the vision, not just horizontally staying the course. You want to achieve, you want to enhance the ability, right? Vision encourages faith and hope. So vision exists only in the imagination. It's a picture of a world that cannot be observed or verified in advance. So the future, I must say, because not present, it's about a future that is shaped by people who believe in it. And a powerful vision helps people believe that they can be effective, that there is a better future, they can move on, right? So vision is an emotional appeal. In short, vision is an emotional appeal to fundamental human rights, needs, and desires. It will you can feel important and useful, to believe we can make a real difference in the world. So a powerful, clearly articulated vision helps people believe in future they cannot see. So next we have vision reflects high ideals, high ideals. Good visions are idealistic. Visions that portray and uplifting future have the power to inspire and energize people. Referring back to our opening example, like that I told you that in the initially there are some people who joined some like historical visions, historical examples set by them. So at that time, leaders portray that a high chance not only to save the company but to establish a whole new path in the automotive engineering, which trapped into the employees' imagination, idealism, or any other company like automobile industry, like beverage industry, or other industries where the vision is to reflect high ideals. Next, we have vision define destination and the journey, of course. So a good vision for the future includes specific outcomes that the organization wants to achieve. It also incorporates the underlying values that will help the organization get there. Like example is now clicking in my mind. I think so. A private business school might certain have some outcomes such as the top 20 ranking, placing 90% of the students in summer internship, getting 80% of the students into the job, and graduating years. So in the process of developing the students, reaching the specific outcomes, the school wants to increase students' knowledge of the business, value, teamwork, as well as prepare them for the lifelong learning. So additionally, the vision may, you can say that underlie values such as no separation between fields of study or between professors and the students, a genuine relations always exist for the student welfare and adding to the body of the business knowledge. So good vision includes both the desires, future outcomes, and underlying values that set the rules for achieving them. So vision definitely it's a destination and a journey also. Now coming towards the mission. Mission, as I told you that it's not the same thing as the company vision, although the two can work together, but I must say two have to work together. The mission is the organization core broad purpose and the reason for the existence. It defines the company core values and reason for being, and it provides a basics for creating the vision. Whereas vision is an ambiguous desire for the future mission, is what the organization stands for in a larger sense. So it's all about what the company is, what the core values, what the purpose, and what the reason for existence. So let's move on. Next we have strategic management. Wow. Strategic management is come under the domain of vision, mission, and under sort of some kind of things. So let's start with the strategic management. So strategic management is integrating knowledge of the environment, vision, and the mission with the core competence in such a way as to achieve synergy and create customer value. So strategic management is basically the knowledge of the environment, vision, and the mission with the company's core competence in such a way as to achieve synergy and create value for the customers. When these customers are these components are brought together, the company has an excellent chance to succeed in the competitive environment. But to do so, leaders have to ensure that the strategies are implemented, that actual behavior within the organization reflects the desired direction. So deciding how to get there is basically putting strategy into the action by adjusting various parts of the organization and directing resources to accomplish strategic goals. All right. So strategy is basically implemented through specific mechanisms. Techniques are tools for directing organization resources to accomplish strategic goals, and I must say it starts from the company vision, then mission, then strategy formulation, then execution of that things. So these are the core competencies that need to be developed at the time of purely executing the strategic management process. So it is basically something the organization does extremely well in the comparison to the competitors. Unique features. In the start, I just told you that the company, the main motto or the purpose of the company is to create the value, is to create the uniqueness about certain things, about certain objects. So actually the alignment of the vision, mission, strategic management, strategy, and the core values, the development of the core value, it's basically the main purpose. And it is the architect made by the leader who can shape or develop such kind of things. So other than that, I also want to discuss with you the some pure factor that the interaction of the organization parts to produce a joint effect that may be greater than the sum of the parts, and the value is basically the combination of the benefits received and cost paid by the customer. So basically remember that in the initial basic foundation concepts of the business administration, you can understand about what is basically actually a synergy, what is a loafing concept, and some other aspects also. For example, when we were talking about that 1 plus 1 equals 3. So what does it mean? 1 plus 1 equals 3 means when two persons are working together, then the outcome will be greater than the individual inputs. So this is the concept of a synergy, the interaction of organization parts to produce a joint effect that is greater than the sum of the parts. So this is the how we can understand actually that the concept of a synergy is basically talking about some aspects, some kind of other things that need to be very much clear. And the value is basically the combination of the benefits received and the cost paid by the customers. So this is actually the basic foundation of the best practice that the leader must follow and apply, execute by getting synergy, by getting value, by creating the best vision, best mission, and then strategy accordingly. So this is the main motto or the purpose of the today's session. So I am hopeful all of you are very much informed and understand the things. If you have any query, any question, then you may ask. So in the end, I just want to talk about the strategic formulation and the strategic implementation. When we are much aware about this is the vision, this is the mission, and this is our core values, our core competencies, then we have to develop the strategy accordingly. The integrating knowledge of the environment, the vision, and the mission with the core competence in such a way as to achieve synergy and create a customer value. And the implementation is basically putting strategy into the action by adjusting various parts of the organization and directing resources to accomplish strategic goals. So you have to formulate a strategy and you have to implement that particular strategy. So now matching the things, strategic impact, if it is high and low, and ease of implementation, hard and easy. So when high impact, hard to implement, it's mean major changes but with potential for high payoff. So there is need for a major changes because the strategic impact is also high and it is hard hard to implement. So ज़्यादा changes are basically required, major changes required. As far as the easy implementation is concerned with the high strategic impact, so then high impact, easy to implement means simple changes that have high strategic impact take action here first. So now in this thing you can make it easily implement, so simple change is required. As far as the low strategic impact and high you can say the hard to implement, so there is difficult changes with little or no potential for payoff, so no need to implement because strategic impact is low. As far as strategic impact is also low and the implementation is easy, so now incremental improvements, small wins, pursue for symbolic value of success. So low impact, easy to implement. You may easily implement, but the impact is not very much, you can say easy to, sorry, not easy, very much incremental or beneficial for you. So this is basically the direction flow. When the thing is hard to implement and high impact is there, so major change is required, because when you're talking about the major changes, then of course it is very much difficult to implement those changes because of the resistance, because of the it's a high change and very much difficult it is. So when it is easy to implement and high strategic impact is there, so simple changes but have high strategic impact. So got the things. Maybe strategic impact is high and easy to implement, immediately you have to make it simple changes. Simple changes is very much easy to implement and the impact or the consequence is fine, so go for it. Linking strategic vision and the strategic action. Vision high, the dreamer, and the vision high and the action is also high, effective leader, right? If you want to become an effective leader, then the vision is also high and the action is also high. All right. Uninvolved, no interest, no, you mean to say that you are taking sport, you are giving sport to the organization. If you are not giving any sport to the organization, it's mean you are uninvolved in the particular organization. Effective leader, high, action is high and the vision is high. If the action is vision is high and the action is low, it's mean the dreamer. You are just dreaming, nothing. You are not actually doing the things. You are idealizing the things that this is my dream, and when you got up, then of course your dream ends. So the leader is not only sleeping, the leader is have to perform actions. The dreamer is not a fine approach. If the action is high and the vision impact is low, then that leader is known as a doer. So now I must say the vision is not very much good impacting on the things what the company want to achieve, but the leader is putting their potential efforts on it. So not a very good approach also.